the higher mountains, is one of the most uncertain measurements we make. Earthwater Global has an innovative way of looking at the groundwater system that is not traditional to hydrological sciences.
The oceanic plate with the South American plate.
Using petroleum geology exploration ideas and tools, looking at fractures and faults in the hard rock, they've discovered that there are in fact huge conveyances, huge transmission lines for water, and knowing that allows Earthwater Global to pinpoint where those geologic structures are. And almost like you would look for oil, you can now look for water in these deep fracture zones.
In 1999, Earthwater Global turned their attention to the Caribbean island of Tobago, where the government was in crisis, only able to meet 65% of the water demand. Within a year, Earthwater discovered mega watershed resources capable of sustainably producing 50 million gallons per day, 10 times the supply of the proposed dam, and 100 times previous groundwater estimates. In the future, Earthwater Global believes that with the mega watershed paradigm, they can develop up to 100 times more groundwater than is currently thought available in many regions of the world.
Nations and communities of people that are terribly short of water don't need to be short of water if we use a new perspective in finding that water.
Thanks. If we could switch back to the PowerPoint, that would be great. Excellent. So Earthwater's assembled a multidisciplinary scientific team with unique capabilities, including Robert Bisson, who's the pioneer of the mega watershed paradigm and has 25 years of well siting and development experience. Roisin Lakings, who's joined with me today. She's a former senior geologist and plate tectonics expert, formerly working for Chevron, Texaco, and Valco Energy. As well, Paul Hauser was on the brief clip that you saw there. He used to run NASA's hydrological branch and formed the Center for Research for Environment and Water, CREW. James Lakings as well, a PhD, who was the former senior geophysicist for Anadarko Petroleum and Microseismic. As well, we have Steve Allison, former World Bank senior specialist for groundwater, and Jay Lair, who was also in that clip, who used to be the editor for the Journal of Groundwater. But essentially what we've created is a multidisciplinary team that looks at this problem using the sort of geological and geophysical and hydrometeorological perspectives that allow us to identify bulk water sources called megawatersheds. Now that I've described the resource, I will quickly describe Earthwater's approach to extracting the resource. We characterize the recharge, the through flow, and the outflow of the resource to ensure that what we are identifying is in fact sustainable, and we develop it on a sustainable basis, making sure that we're extracting water within the natural sustainable recharge of the system. This approach allows for bulk water solution that's ideal at the local level, as well as a bulk water supply solution that can solve major urban problems. And the reason for that is it's a series of wells that are developed, high volume wells, but they're located close to areas of demand. So it's not like dams or desalination or traditional point source solutions where you need to convey water over large distances. The exploration techniques that are employed basically are state-of-the-art technologies and data sets within a GIS, Geographic Information System environment, and a multidisciplinary approach to exploration, basically combining geological, geophysical, hydrometeorological, and remote sensing techniques and technologies and tools. We tailor our approach to each specific opportunity, as each opportunity is in fact different. But by having the multidisciplinary team, we're able to develop water in many places where we don't think it exists. Yeah. So we've developed water in many different technical environments. As I mentioned, Trinidad and Tobago in particular, we developed significantly more water than they thought existed. 10 times the amount we developed in Tobago, and we discovered what we believe is an additional 100 times what they thought they had. Our business model, to touch on quickly, is basically that we provide potable water for our government clients on a take-or-pay basis, and the client is only obligated to pay after water is developed and made available, and only then for the quantities delivered. We do this under two contract structures, a build, operate, train, transfer, as well as a build, transfer structure. And we fully finance all the capital costs and operating expenses to provide this turnkey solution, which is inclusive of the exploration program that I just described, the development of the construction and conveyance infrastructure to bring the water from the wellhead to the existing distribution system of the client, and we manage the project assets for long-term sustainability. And we monitor that system over the long term, which is typically 25 years. We do not take ownership of the water. This is not a privatization. What this is developing a resource that the country owns and providing it under a long-term service agreement. I just described the development project elements. Moving forward, would like to touch on the value proposition for the client. First off, this solution can be made available in months, not years. 6 to 9 months for first water, and 2 to 4 years typically, depending on the volume, for an entire build-out. The rates are highly competitive compared to dams or desalination when compared on an all-in basis. We reduce the need for conveyance infrastructure, as I mentioned. We have an incredibly environmentally friendly solution, and only 1/10 of an acre is required per production well. You'll see that the picture in the bottom right is a production well that's providing 1 million gallons per day in Tobago. Minimal treatment is required for these wells. The most salient point that I want to take home is that this is not a point source solution, it is a multi-source solution. And by locating water at or near demand centers, we have many, many advantages over dams or desalination, which are both necessary, but are also create many problems. From an environmental perspective, from a treatment perspective, from the amount of land that they require, security risks that are associated with having all of your water located in one source, etc. In summary, earth water can develop mega watersheds in many water-scarce locations across the world. We've developed a unique ability to access these mega watersheds on a sustainable and affordable basis. We have a fully financed turnkey solution that eliminates all financial risk for the client. The solution's multi-source, it's decentralized, and we can develop it at or near demand centers. And the development projects provide a multitude of health and economic benefits that have been discussed throughout the day. We reduce the incidence of water-related diseases, eliminate the need for women and children in the developing world who spend countless hours retrieving water from often polluted sources. And we believe that investment in water is in fact one of the best investments that anyone can make. For every dollar invested, there's an $8 economic return in healthcare savings and productivity gains. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for giving us another example of ways in which the private sector is using their access to new technologies to come up with new solutions. Dr. Mankiewicz is having a few technical glitches with his PowerPoint. So what I would like to suggest is that we take a few questions for the